So we are so excited to be here today with author Walt Biddick. He wrote the book, The Way I Learned, Academic Strategies for Regular and Special Education. So Walt, tell us about this book.
Sure, absolutely. So, um, I've always been in special education because I myself have dyslexia. And it's because of that I actually became a special education teacher. Um, so I teach special education kids, and I decided to write this book because I always heard stories of different parents wanting any kind of resource to help their children. Um, their children learn differently, and of course they're like, well, I want my kid assessed, but that takes a process. You have to go to the school district, and then they may or may not agree to the assessment. um, so their other option, of course, is to go to the library and get a book with techniques to help their child, but they don't want to read a book this big. So what I did was I looked back at my own schooling, which was definitely really difficult because I didn't have special education. It did not exist back then. So I wrote this book on how I learned my academics, reading, writing, and math. And it's really direct learning. So the book is not like this thick. It just describes the techniques in detail on how I learned. So if a child is having difficulty with math and reading, writing, any kind of subjects at all, they can read this book and get immediate tips on how to help their child.
I love that. So, I mean, obviously, I can tell you're passionate about this because you have been through it as well. So, but go ahead and tell us, I mean, what was the main inspiration for you writing this book?
Mhm. Uh, the main inspiration is because I just wanted to help my fellow students that is having some kind of difficulty with learning. I know exactly what it feels to not want to go to school, going to school and not learning anything whatsoever because you're just not understanding what the lessons are all about. But looking around and seeing everyone else learn the lessons, um, and just having the anxiety and just the will to want to learn and succeed. And that's why I tell my students is that we learn just like everyone else in the sense that we're not broken. We just learn a little bit differently. Um, so that's okay if we learn a little bit differently as long as we learn. And that was really my inspiration to write this book.
I love that. That's very powerful. Sounds like you're an amazing teacher to your students. So, is there any other, message that you'd like to share with us, or just anything extra you'd like to share with our audience about you, your book, or just the message of your book?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So um, this book is for any student, family who's having a hard time learning. Um, but it's also for any student who wants their knowledge to be increased for the next level. For example, if you're in fifth grade going into middle school, there's resources in the book to help you with any kind of subject in middle school, also in high school. So on the one side, it does help students who learn differently, but on the other side, it can also help students who just want to increase their knowledge in a subject or get ahead for the next grade. So it's really a book that can help the general population. It does have techniques in there that, if you learn them, it can definitely be beneficial. I myself despise the multiplication tables that we all know and enjoy. I actually made a technique to learn multiplication, the basic multiplication, without using a calculator. And the thing is that when you learn these techniques, it brings power back to the student. Because when you go into the classroom and not learning the subject actually has the power over you. So it's really the students taking their education back.
That's incredible. And what an amazing resource for parents, because anytime a parent is dealing with a student who has anxiety over learning, I mean, this resource could be amazing for them. So thank you for writing this book. Obviously you have a mission and a calling, for this. And this book is available online anywhere books are sold. And we would love to check back in with you sometime if you would meet with us again, and we'd love to catch up sometime and see how things are going. And thank you for talking to us today.